Sorry. Alrighty, so at our online supporter update today, we're going to be focusing on the homeless outreach team. That's why Guy and Katie are with us. And this is kind of about a larger part of our spring campaign effort. Missoula Gives begins at 5 p.m. on this Thursday, and we'll be raising money through Missoula Gives for the homeless outreach team to continue, so they can continue their work of providing resources to people living unsheltered. So with that, I'm going to share my screen and hand it over to Guy and Katie. Get it looking good. All right.
Hi, so who is the Homeless Outreach Team program? Oh, Homeless Outreach Team. We are POB staff, mostly POB employees, or everyone on the team is POB employees, but we do take out volunteers with us. Also, we take out nursing students from the university. We do practicum. We have a practicum student with us from the University of Montana from the social work department. Interfaith collaborative volunteers also, and we usually have a pretty good number of volunteers, people that just want to come out and learn what we do and learn firsthand. So the hot team, we really try to bridge the divide between the chronically houseless individuals and everyone in the Missoula community. We work to identify the barriers and housing services for Missoula's chronically houseless individuals, while simultaneously supporting, educating downtown businesses and community members. And that can be anywhere from getting a phone call or just walking down the street. We do get a lot of people recognize the orange sweaters or shirts or whatever that we wear. So we get stopped a lot when we're just walking, doing outreach downtown or in the community anywhere. And people just ask, who we are, what we do for, individuals, and we try to be that educational piece. We don't just help the houseless individuals. We act as, that barrier or that in between for business members and just somebody living in the community. Just open door questions. I mean, it's a really nice thing to ask. Anytime you see us, feel free to stop us. The goals of the hot team. One of our biggest goals is to deter the costly emergency services by promoting our hotline, and it's an alternative to call 911 for nuisance behavior related to chronic houselessness. We build those relationships with shelter-resistant individuals through that direct contact interactions. We identify barriers to services, and we do make those appropriate referrals. We provide that direct education about abilities and limitations of service providers in order to increase the understanding about the complex nature of chronic houselessness. Our hotline is on 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday. We have a team of 5 individuals, and our response time is really quick in that aspect. And the building relationships is one of our key points of the hot team. It is that understanding of, we don't get to know a person just by one interaction. It's a long-term game. I mean, it takes anywhere from a week to 6 months to build a rapport with individuals. So that way we can, at the appropriate time, have that more difficult conversation of, what are your housing goals? What can we help you out with? We can help you with IDs, birth certificates, all of that. And I mean, it's a trust thing. I mean, people want to understand, like, they're not just another houseless person or whatever. They're just another human being in the community of Missoula.
So I can read it. So the hotline featured above provides an alternative for community members who may be reluctant to call 911 with their concerns about individuals suffering from chronic homelessness. And so our hot number is kind of to circumvent some of those situations where maybe 911 doesn't really need to be called and we already have those relationships. And so we might be the better people to come in and see what's going on or just talk to the person, calm down. So they don't get in those situations where it's immediately jail or the hospital, if it's not obviously a 911 emergency. Let's see, the ability to respond directly to community concerns is critical to meeting the goals. Hot volunteers can then begin identifying barriers, making referrals, and educating community members about the challenges of addressing chronic homelessness in Missoula. So like I said, we really advertise that we're a good preventative measure before the cops for certain scenarios where, you know, it's not a life-threatening emergency. Someone's maybe just walking around talking to themselves. Someone maybe just looks a little confused. We try to go in and avoid some of those other overlying issues.
Building relationships, outreach to folks living unsheltered, meeting folks where they are at. I mean, not just in a physical sense, but emotional sometimes. We go there to make a contact. You know, sometimes we're the only contact somebody has within the community, let alone we're usually the only positive interactions they have with folks. I mean, it takes 5 seconds to go up to somebody and say, hey, how's your day? Spark that conversation. And that's all somebody needs to put a smile on their face and make their day better. Individual-centered connections and rapport. I mean, it goes without saying. Community at large, such as businesses and neighborhood groups. We do a lot of neighborhood meetings. We also do a lot of, you know, educational. We do in-services with not just community members or not just businesses, but community areas. We were out at the Orchard Homes Community Center a few weeks ago. Just giving that informational, educational piece to everybody that was involved with that meeting. Identifying barriers. Why are people resistant to using emergency shelters? Addiction issues, absolutely. Well, I mean, as a recovering addict, I didn't want to be around other individuals. I mean, so it puts in that you know, just don't want to be there. PTSD is huge, mental health issues, canine companions. Here at the Poverello Center, individuals are allowed to have their service animal with them. But a lot of the times, you know, they don't have that proper paperwork that they need, so they aren't allowed to. Underage dependents, we serve a huge community, and it doesn't just have to be a set age limit. There's so many different age groups that we serve, and we try to help point them in the right direction. Stigma of using shelter services. It is hard to, yeah, it's not easy for someone that, you know, has maintain a level of self appearance throughout their whole life, and then to have to go stay at a shelter. It's not always easy. I mean, you have to bite the bullet. And a lot of times, I mean, a majority of the times the individuals we serve, it's a lifestyle. They choose to want to live outside. It's not that they don't have the resources. They like that. That's who they are, and that's where they come from. Providing education, community outreach. So we are part of a larger group called the community outreach team, which is every service provider that has an outreach program. And we all work towards, you know, helping get to the same goals, the ultimate goal of housing. We do those business contacts. We have one individual on the team, and that's her role within this team, to make those business contacts. We try to do 5 to 10 business contacts a week. We act as that median in between, like we said, businesses and clients. So that way, businesses don't have to always refer calling to 911 or law enforcement, because it's a different approach. I mean, we don't come in with a badge or a uniform, except the orange, but when people see us, they know who we are. They already have that. We have a calming presence with a lot of folks. So that way we can have that, de-escalation discussion with them, or, just be real with them. The hotline conversations. So that our cell phone, our hotline, we receive anywhere from 15 to 25 calls a day. I mean, not just from clients, but from community members and businesses, everyone in the community, really. It's a great resource that we have in our tool bag that we can respond, and we can go over and talk with, a business owner that said, may have somebody sitting outside their business that they just want, are worried about. And that's where we come into play. We can go over there, make that interaction with them, and try to connect them to the right resource available.
And that's the last of our slides, but does anyone have questions or comments?
Yeah, you use the term hotline, and in my mind, I'm imagining the H, O, and T is an acronym. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So besides meaning hot, what does that HOT mean?
Homeless outreach team.
A homeless outreach team. Perfect.
So we are the homeless outreach team. We go by that. We go by hot or hot team. It's just, it's real basic,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's it's a good acronym, I think. I like that. It's easy to remember too.
And then when I was saying, we don't wear a uniform, we have orange sweaters that actually say the POV and homeless outreach team on them. And if you guys would like our number, Sarah, would you put that in the chat? Like I said, our hotline, our cell phone is on from 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday. We have been able to expand our team in the last year and a half. For the longest time, we were only a team of 2 individuals. So since the pandemic, we've recently expanded our team. We went all the way up to 7 individuals, and right now we're sitting at solid 5 individuals. We're still busy. We're still doing everything that we do. And then, we're an outreach-based program. So we're out on the streets every day. Yeah.
And then I am gonna pop our Missoula Gives page into the chat. This can kind of give you a little more information on the campaign this spring. And then also some supplemental, just like background information. So I would definitely encourage everyone to check out that link. Are there any other questions for Katie or Guy? I have a couple announcements before we wrap up. You're muted, Jim.
Yeah. Now that the cold weather is almost done, and down on the Johnson Street in North Avenue, that's shut down now. So those people now, they're still out on the street a little bit more now, aren't they? And you haven't been able to concentrate your people on Broadway because of the pandemic either. You can't let them be real crowded there.
The shelter is still maintaining that max capacity of 88 individuals every night. The city is actually really, since January, they've opened up the authorized campsite, which is a site over behind Walmart by the eco compost place, which has 40 sites serving 80 individuals that has been running at max capacity.
Yeah, and then there's a camp on the south side of town too, by the golf course.
Yep, that is the temporary safe outdoor space run through Hope Rescue.
Hope Rescue, huh?
Yep.
Oh, and then, but the Johnson Street thing is now shut down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So really, in retrospect, everything is still either, if it's not closed down like the Johnson Street or some of the other city plans and these organizations that open up these other camps, those are all still full.
Okay,
And then the pod still runs on a lottery system, so there's still quite a few people out on the streets that don't fit into those slots.
well then, I would imagine now that as summer comes in here, you might expect quite a few people coming from the south to come up and enjoy the north summertime, you know. You might find more people coming from out of state to come join Montana for the summer.
No, I can
As
answer
you-
that.
As usual, it'll be just,
Travelers.
every summer we have that, people traveling. And our numbers do not, I wouldn't say spike or raise dramatically, but it has a tendency to happen.
Okay,
Awesome. Yeah, thank you all. If there aren't any other questions at this time, and yeah, Patty.
I have a question. My daughter just moved into a house that's right next to the Reserve Street Bridge, and she happens to be a water resource specialist. So she's gonna try to work with, and then maybe I could ask you who's might be the best organization to help with that cleanup, and she's got a lot of experience with riparian areas, like how to take care of them, how to start them when, out of trash piles. So I was wondering, how is it going there with the people there, and what are the biggest needs that you guys see? Like, is it really hard to serve those people or relocate them, or what are their needs? How is it going there? I know I read the news every day. They're pretty good at keeping up on daily stuff, but what are your guys' opinions on how to help those guys?
yeah. I thought your daughter might want to conduct the, is it the highway department has some connection
Motor
with the
Department of Transportation, Montana Department of Transportation.
DOT.
That would be a
MDT is the
good-
primary owner of that, and then on the southeast side of the bridge, that is a private owned land there. And as to, that would be your best contact info. I believe the gentleman's name from MDT is Bob Bozen. You can contact them and ask any questions directed towards that. They have been doing cleanups out there the past couple weeks. So I mean, it's a process. It's not gonna fix itself in one day, but it is a group effort.
Yes. Yeah, I think your daughter would fit in real well with that group. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, she's excited to be part of the solution.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if there aren't any other questions at this time, but feel free to interrupt and let me know. Always happy to field more questions. I've kind of plugged Missoula Gives throughout this meeting, but I just want to remind you all one more time that Missoula Gives will be starting at 5 o'clock on Thursday and going through Friday. We'll be downtown for First Friday, right in front of Fact and Fiction. We'll be having a parklet and demonstrating some of the match and fundraising efforts to get survival gear and other supplies for the homeless outreach team. So I would love if any of you are downtown to stop by and say hi. Also, the picnic for the POV is quickly approaching on July 13th. We will be hosting that event in honor of our veteran services programs and working on getting that content together for everyone at this time. If any of you would like to be involved in the picnic in any way, even just attending, absolutely feel free to email me. I'll type my email in the chat here momentarily.
Yeah.
And then just to finish things up, ways to support the POV are, of course, always volunteering, particularly in the kitchen. We've seen an increase in meals served and, of course, sack lunches served throughout the pandemic, but also in the past couple months. And then some of our current needs as far as supply donations include reusable cups. We're wanting to try that method to keep our guests hydrated as the weather warms up and cut down on some single-use, paper cup waste. And then, of course, survival gear and emergency kit supplies, which includes gloves, hand warmers, blankets, and some like basic hygiene supplies as well. Are there any questions about any of that?
You mentioned a picnic coming up here. That's going to be out on a park somewhere. It's not going to be at POV, is it? The picnic
No, it'll be at the baseball stadium.
across the river. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right across the river. Yeah, so it'll be 5:30 to 6 to 7 on Wednesday, July 5th.
Is there going to be some publicity on that from like in the Missoulian and other things?
Oh yeah, I'll be sending out lots of from press releases to my email communications as well. So definitely let me know if you want to get connected.
Yeah.
We email in the chat. And are there any other questions? I think if not, we can wrap it up. So thank you all so much for attending today. And thank you
you.
guys for
Thanks.
presenting.
Nice to meet you guys, Joe and.
Yeah. When are we going to meet again now? Another month from now or a
Oh
week from
yeah,
now?
that was in my notes too. Thanks, Jem, keeping me straight. Our next meeting's Tuesday, June 7th. So I'll be sending out emails for those.
Okay. Good. Keep us on your email list.
Oh yeah, I make sure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Good night.